Delivering another bead bracelet that shouldn't be too tough. You may have seen this one before. It's the Bead Square Cuff. The square cuff is a perfect bead bracelet to wear and share with a symmetrical look created with assembly of basic squares. Another unique bead design, of course, that looks just fine. So let it come as no mistake, as this bracelet is great because it's simple and fun to make. So get ready for this tutorial to satisfy your creative needs. Feel free to give this video a like and enjoy this episode of TurboBeads. Here's a list of everything you need to make the square cuff bead bracelet. Before starting this project, I'm just letting you know that I'm using Omniflex fishing line. This string is a 15-pound fishing line that's high in strength and very affordable. It comes in a spool with 500 yards to use. I'm just keeping you informed and letting you know that this is a personal choice. This is not a sponsored video. To make the square cuff, the first thing we'll do is make bead squares. First, we'll take 2 feet of string and add 8 beads to the string, alternating the gold and black beads, just like this. Once you have those beads on the string, you'll move those beads toward one end of the string and tie both ends of string together with a square knot to bring all of those beads together. When pulling the string together, be sure that you push the gold beads toward the center to ensure that it takes the form of a square. Also, when tying the string together, be sure that your knot is tied nice and secure to ensure that everything stays locked into place and holds together. With this visual, you'll see that tying the string together, making a bead square, is as easy as it seems. So once you have that knot tied and everything locked into place, this is what it should look like. As you can see, we have a bead square, and this should also give us one long end of string and one short end of string to use. So what we'll do is we'll use this string to build around the square, making a much larger square. From here, we'll use that long end of string and run that string to the closest point of that square, which is this black bead here. So just watch close as I guide the string to this bead, pulling that string all the way through, and this will set us up for the next steps. Now that the string is all set, we're ready to add beads to the string and build around the square. Again, we'll use that long end of string, and we're going to add 3 white beads to that string. Now that you have those beads on the string, we're going to run that string to the next point of the square, which is this black bead here. So just watch close as I guide the string to this bead. When you get that string all the way through that bead and pull the string all the way through, the 3 beads that were added will stack right into place, creating a point looking just like this. Now that we've created this first bead point, we're ready to create another point using the same steps. Again, we'll use that same long end of string, and we're going to add 3 white beads to that string. Now that you have those beads on the string, we're going to run that string to the next bead point of that square, which is this black bead here. Again, watch close as I guide the string through that bead, pulling that string all the way through until those 3 beads stack right into place, creating another point looking just like this. Let's go ahead and create another point of this square. Again, using that same end of string, we're adding 3 white beads to that string. Once you have those beads on the string, you're going to run that string to the next point of that square, which is this black bead here. Continue watching as I guide the string through that bead, pulling the string all the way through until those beads that were added stack right into place, creating a point. With 3 points finished, we have one more to create for the square. As I'm sure you know, it's the exact steps as we've been using, adding 3 beads to that string, then running that string to the next point of that square. As you can see for this project, it's this black bead here. Again, get that string through that bead. When you get that string through that bead, be sure to pull it all the way through, and those 3 beads that are added will stack right into place, creating the final point of this square. From this point, I would recommend reinforcing the square panel by running the string through all of the beads that create the outline of the square until you've reached this point here. So just watch close as I guide the string to the beads that make up the outline of the square. I'm going to go ahead and let this step play out so that you can see the path of beads to run the string through. With this visual, you will see the path I've used to reinforce this square. As you should know, reinforcing this square panel will make it more firm, also helping it retain its shape. When you get that string through those beads, just be sure to pull the string just enough, keeping those beads in a tight formation. As I should mention, this step is completely optional but highly recommended, as you'll want your bead squares to maintain their shape. You want to make sure that the beads used for this square are the same size to ensure they interlock and stay in a tight formation. As a quick tip, be sure to take your time when running the string through these beads, making sure you've gone through all the correct beads to ensure everything turns out just right. As you can see with this visual, the string should stay hidden within these beads. Continue watching as I guide the string through these final beads that have taken us all the way around the square panel back to the starting point. Remember, once you get that string through those beads, to be sure to pull it all the way through and just enough, keeping those beads in a tight formation. Now that we've ran the string all the way through the beads that make up the outline of the square and we're back to the starting point, you'll see both ends of string will be adjacent to each other. From here, we can tie both ends of string together with a square knot to lock all of those beads into place. Feel free to tie the knot as many times as you feel is necessary. Remember, we're just tying the string together with a knot that's solid and secure to ensure that everything stays locked into place and holds together. Now that the string is tied and everything is locked into place, you'll carefully cut off the tied loose ends of string and you've created a bead square panel. So now you can see that we've created a bead square panel and it should look just like this. From this point, we'll need to create 5 more of these bead squares using the same steps. As you can see, I've created 5 more of these bead square panels. That's a total of 6 squares. I've decided to make them all in the same colors of gold, black, and white. Of course, you're always able to make them in any color combination of your choice, so leave a comment below and let me know what cool color combinations that you decide to use to create yours. From this point, I'll be using this elastic stretch string made by Bead Landing that I picked up from Michael's craft store. This elastic cord is very affordable, comes packaged with 10 yards of string, and works great as well. It's a durable string that has plenty of elasticity. So again, I'm just keeping you informed and letting you know that this is a personal choice, it's not a sponsored video. So now we'll need to take 2 strands of elastic stretch string that are 1 foot each. What we'll do is we'll use this string to connect all of the bead squares together to create a bracelet. Each bead square will be attached by running the string through all of the beads that make up the top and bottom rows of that square. So let's go ahead and take 1 bead square and add it to the string. Watch close as I guide the string through these beads that make up the top row of the square. I'll let this step play out so that you have a clear visual reference on which beads to run the string through, as you'll definitely want to take your time making sure that you ran the string through the correct beads so that your bracelet turns out just right. Using the path that you see here will ensure that the string stays hidden within those beads. As you can see, I've gone through the first 2 beads on the top row, then the black bead on top, then exiting through the next 2 white beads on the top row. Once you get that string through all of those beads that make up the top row, be sure to pull both ends of string, keeping that remaining string hidden within those beads. With the bead square on that string, we can now push that square toward the end of the string, leaving a bit of tail end, just enough to tie with for later. Now that we have the first bead square on that string and it's all set, we're ready to add another bead square to that string. So let's go ahead and take a bead square, then we'll run that string through all of the beads that make up the top row of that square. Continue watching as I guide the string through these beads. As another quick reminder, be sure to take your time when running the string through these beads, making sure that you get the string through the correct beads to ensure that everything turns out correctly. Again, with this visual, it should be pretty clear of which beads to run the string through. Once you get that string through all of the beads that make up the top row, you'll pull that string all the way through. Remember to pull both ends of that string, keeping the remaining string hidden within those beads. Now we'll push that bead square toward the other square, just like this. As you can see, we now have 2 bead squares on the string as they appear to be attached with the string hidden within these beads. From here, we'll continue using the same steps and adding bead squares on the string through the top rows that make up those squares. With this visual, you will see that adding bead squares to the string is as easy as it seems. When you have a bead square on the string, you'll just push that square toward the other squares as you see demonstrated here. Now that we have all of those squares on the string through the top rows, this is what it should look like so far. From here, we'll need to take that other foot of elastic string and attach it to the squares as well by running that string through all of the beads that make up the bottom rows of these squares. This is exactly as we've done before, as we can run through these steps once again. Remember, it's just running the string through the beads that make up the bottom row. Again, continue watching and you'll be able to see the path of beads to run the string through, as this will keep the string hidden within these beads. Remember, when you get that string all the way through those beads that make up the bottom row of that square, you'll pull the string just enough, leaving a tail end to tie with later. From here, we'll just continue running the remainder of the string through these bead square panels that make up the bottom row of this bracelet. Just don't forget to pull that string on both sides, keeping that string hidden within these beads, and also pushing those bead squares towards each other to ensure they remain in a tight formation. Once again, with this visual reference, you should see how these bead squares are attached together using two separate strings, as we have elastic stretch string through the top and bottom rows of these squares. The process is as easy as can be. So now that we have both strings all the way through the top and bottom rows of the bead squares, this is what it should look like so far. From here, we can take both ends of string from the top row and tie both ends together. When tying the string together, you'll see that both ends of the bracelet will come together as well. Be sure to tie the string with a square knot to lock everything into place. Also, feel free to tie the knot as many times as you feel is necessary, ensuring that everything stays together. Now that the string of the top row is tied, we can now tie both ends of string here on the bottom row as well. Again, be sure that the string is tied with a knot that's solid and secure to ensure that everything stays locked into place and holds together. Once your knots are tied and everything is locked into place, all that is left is to carefully cut off the tied loose ends of string, and your bead square cuff is now complete. And there you have it, another fine bead bracelet design that was easy to make. Hopefully this tutorial was helpful and you can create one just as great. If there's anything you would like to add, requests or suggestions, feel free to leave a comment below. And if you are new or you just haven't already, don't forget that you can always subscribe if you want to be notified for more bead tutorials just like this one. Hoping you'll tune in for the next one to satisfy your creative needs. Until next time, be sure to wear it and share it. Thanks for watching TurboBeads.